Time Sync is the weekly podcast to let you know what's worth sinking your time into. Head to timesyncpod.com for more information like our rating scale, show notes, social media, videos, and more. Welcome to Time Sync, the weekly podcast where we ask if it's worth sinking your time. From TV, movies, video games, comic books, poetry books, YouTube series, documentaries, and more. I'll cut that. We rate content not on its quality.
No, I loved YouTube books. I thought YouTube books, audio books, butter books, books about cheese. We like books and we don't care who knows.
Anyway, we rate content not on its quality, but if it's worth sinking your limited free time into on a scale from 1 to 5. I'm your host and pop culture super junkie Sauce, and this week I am joined by Mr. Hummer.
I still don't have some sort of like, what am I good for? Tagline at the end of my name. I haven't come up with one. I am worthless Hummer here to bring nothing of value to the conversation.
And Brad.
Hummer, I think you should go with war, because then people will be like, what is it good for? And you'll be like, no, I'm good for it. It's good for me, too. I like them both. I'm constantly at war. Internally, externally, exfoliationally, and the correct pluralization of octopus is octopodes.
Jesus, that's awesome.
We got a great episode for you guys this week. This week, we're going to talk about Those Who Wish Me Dead, My Fair Lady, Mythic Quest, Mass Effect, Legendary Edition, Resident Evil Village, and Raya and the Last Dragon. So stick around because we got a great episode for you. So Mr. Hummer, before you tell me about Those Who Wish Me Dead, why do you want to talk about My Fair Lady?
So we were like flipping through. My wife and I have been doing this thing where
gross.
I don't want to say we've been. That's actually terrible. We haven't really been doing this thing, but we were flipping through the different platforms, the Netflix, the Hulu, the Amazon Prime, in our search for something to watch. And I just noticed that they had an Audrey Hepburn documentary. And I don't know, I've made an off comment that I'd never seen Breakfast at Tiffany's, or for that matter, any movie that featured Audrey Hepburn. But the one that was free for us to watch was My Fair Lady. So my wife and I decided to check it out. And for a quick synopsis, it's about a woman living on the streets of London.
I already lost interest.
I know. She's like selling like flowers, basically as like a semi-homeless person. And she speaks in a very weird dialect, and this professor who's all snobby agrees to make a wager that he can turn her into a flower girl. So it's kind of like the original She's All That movie. And it's a weird movie. It's technically a musical. So I guess I'm going down the route of rating another musical on the show.
You only watch musicals and documentaries.
Yeah. So it gets split up into two parts though. So there's an intermission. And for the long and short of my rating of this film, I would rate the first half of this film a 4. The first half of this musical is absolutely incredible, and then it hits the intermission, and then it is incredibly stupid. It is terrible. It is awful. I wouldn't waste any time on the second half of the movie. I fell asleep actually during the second half. It was bad. Some weird stuff about the film, which actually it has some controversy from back in the day. Audrey Hepburn was dubbed over for the singing except for one song. And she didn't find out about the dubbing over or her removal of her voice until she was actually watching the premiere of the movie.
Ooh.
So some drama that happened with it. But I mean, from a historical perspective, like if you want to see like the golden age of Hollywood, if you would, I would definitely definitely sink your time into it. I do think it's worth it. The first half is good. The second half is just weird the way they kind of tie some stuff in. There's some musical numbers that don't really make sense. Like some storylines they could have just like not brought back and not made the movie 3 hours long.
Yeah, why was it so bad?
So they just had some like her, for instance, there's a musical number where her dad comes back in and all of a sudden he's pissed off because he's rich for some reason. And it's like, okay, dude, stop complaining. No one really cares. Like you don't sympathize with him in any way, shape, or form. And he does this musical number and it's just awful. Then it's like they abruptly are trying to wrap up loose ends in the film. And then there's some things that they start dragging on towards the end that I don't think they needed to. Frankly, I think it was just trying to adapt the movie to being a musical that was 3 hours long.
Wow. It's 3 hours long?
Yeah.
Because I've also never seen it, and you're not convincing me to.
Isn't that the Audrey Hepburn one?
It's a 1960. Yep.
Isn't that the one where she has the like thick Cockney accent, and he has to like talk her out of the Cockney accent in order to like make her a high society member? Am I thinking right?
Yeah, that's so the premise. That's what I said. Is the premise is the original She's All That. If you remember I think it was Freddie Prinze Jr. movie where he has to take the nerdy girl, and turn her into the prom queen. It's that premise for the movie.
It's a Shakespeare trope. I'm pretty sure
it's good. Or Shakespeare. However long it goes, a classic story. It's just it drags on, just kind of like this review is.
Oh, he's trying to can't buy me, love me.
Why do white people do that?
It's Golden Age Hollywood. If you like Golden Age Hollywood, you're probably going to love this film. The dialogue, when they're not singing, is very thought-provoking. There's definitely a good script to it. It's just sometimes and I think I made the comment at one point, it felt a little Bollywood, where it's like, why is that song even here? Why? Why is it here? It makes no sense. But overall, I mean, I feel like you have to judge those movies on a curve. It's a must-watch if you're into Golden Age Hollywood. If you're not into Golden Age Hollywood, it's put it on the shelf and never think about it.
Sold.
So, next movie, though, is one that I think you should watch. It's Those Who Wish Me Dead. It's one of those films that is being released May 14th, but it was also part of HBO Max's new strategy of releasing movies onto their streaming platform. And it has one of the ageless actors of our age, Angelina Jolie, super hot back in her day, Angelina Jolie. And essentially it's about an accountant who discovers...
You just said she was ageless, but then you just said she's super hot back in the day.
Yeah, well, I mean, she's still hot, but she's not super hot anymore, So
she's not ageless.
Yeah, I guess she's kind of aging. Now, but she's good. But either way, the main plot is you have an accountant who just basically... He witnesses crimes being committed inside of a company, and then he has two assassins sent to kill him, and his teenage son witnesses the murder. And then the story is about the survival of the teenager who finds himself in the middle of the woods with a survival expert who also happens to be in the middle of a forest where there's a lot of forest fires. So it actually is action-packed. I thought it was pretty good. It's kind of a silly movie in the sense of the actual plot, but the way the plot develops, it's kind of a little bit of a silly movie. You're like, okay, I don't know how much I believe this or if you believe it, but man, I'm talking myself out of this myself out of this movie. I was prepared to give it a 4, and like as I'm talking about it and revisiting it, I'm thinking like, you know what, this is probably more of a 2 because it's a movie that I'm not going to watch again. Like, it's not something that I'm going to say I'm going to go in and watch again and maybe pick up something different. There wasn't a real twist that you would expect in maybe this kind of suspense thriller type of movie, but it's free. If you're looking for a new movie, something you haven't seen before, you got nothing in your queue, it's okay.
I'm pretty sure Bruce Willis made this movie already, except instead of the boy being his son, it was an Amish child, and he had to protect the Amish child from after he witnessed the murder. I'm pretty sure it was called Witness.
And were they outrunning forest fires? Yeah, I mean, this is probably a classic. It feels like a classic Hollywood, plot.
Oh,
witness protection plot.
Yeah, I feel like it's been done, but by Bruce Willis.
But less Amish.
But with less Amish people.
I need more Amish people.
Like I said, I came in ready to give it a 4. I started talking about it, and I went down to a 2.
I think it's obvious you enjoyed it in the moment right? Like while you were watching it, you obviously enjoyed it, but then you go back and you reflect on something like this, and you go, "Oh yeah, I mean, it wasn't really actually good. It just it was on. It kept my attention. I was into it now, but I mean, that happens a lot with just the base action films."
Yeah, that's a great way to put it. You know, in the moment, it captured my attention. Afterwards, I'm like, okay, yeah.
So, what character was Angelina Jolie?
Angelina Jolie is the the main survivalist. She is who she basically finds the boy in the middle of the woods because he's escaped witnessing his father's murder. She finds him and she has to protect him, but she's basically on a punishment assignment to go sit out in the middle of the woods and watch for lightning strikes and, you know, be able to prepare to stop forest fires from happening. So like the whole movie is like it's telegraphed what's going to happen the entire time.
Is it lightning in this forest fire?
Maybe not. Maybe there is a little twist there. Maybe Smokey the Bear says, "Do not start fires in the middle of the woods with flare guns."
I'm gonna go ahead and spoil the movie and say that doesn't happen. Just off a whim, off a guess.
What was the last movie Angelina Jolie's been in? Because I haven't seen her in a while. I think the last thing I saw her in was Salt.
Maleficent.
Maleficent?
Yeah, it's
I
probably
did
one
see
of
that.
those. There's gotta be something in between.
Eternals.
Eternals isn't out yet.
She is in the new Maleficent, Mistress of Evil.
What's the name of that movie?
I can't pronounce it. Whatever. Maleficent. Yeah,
You can do it.
I can't.
Sound it out.
Maleficent.
You did it.
Maleficent. Man, she hasn't been anything in a while.
Yeah, that's why I was wondering if this was worth watching just for her performance alone, because, again, like, when's the last time she's done something other than Maleficent, which is not, I don't know.
If I'm reflecting on her
weird.
performance, I mean, it's not a very dialogue-heavy movie, and it's also, from an action standpoint, there's not a lot of, like, hand-to-hand combat fighting type scenes. So I wouldn't even say from her performance on that end that it's worth a whole lot. You know, I think some of her better films are going back to like Salt. I thought that was one that I really liked. I think it was, what's the one where she's they can curve the bullets?
Wanted.
That was her last, like, really good movie.
I
She
really
was
liked
awesome
that one.
in that.
Yeah, I love that movie. The
And
Tourist. I actually
this
really love The
motherfucker.
Tourist. I like The Tourist a lot as well.
Is that with America's Dad, Tom Hanks?
No, The Tourist is with
What am I thinking of?
Edward Scissorhands. Damn it, Johnny Depp.
Yoni Depp.
Yeah, Johnny Depp.
I'm thinking of The Terminal. I'm sorry.
All
They
right.
built a whole
either way.
working terminal for that movie, guys.
Did they really?
A whole terminal in an airport in a hangar. They built an entire working terminal.
I think we're
Because
spending
Steven
too much money on
Spielberg
this
is
movie as
method.
well.
He's method director. He has to be in the real space, obviously. Guys, the movie Terminal was really bad. Can we just go into that for a minute?
I did
I
want
don't
to
know
know
if
that.
you've seen it. I don't know if you've seen it, but it's not a good movie.
Aw, I was hoping it was. I want to see Tom Hanks be a weird character.
Oh, watch Castaway, much better.
I
Shut
can't
up,
watch,
Wilson.
I can't. That's another movie I can't watch. Like, I can't go back and rewatch Castaway.
I just want them to put the extended version out where the lady opens the box at the end, and it's like a satellite telephone that he could have used the whole time to get himself home. But instead he was like, no, this will be my hope.
What is Tom Hanks' best film?
I mean, I liked Big a lot as a kid. Turner and Hooch is good. Not the one with the shoe, that's for sure. I don't like that one. Philadelphia. What about Philadelphia? It's got to be Philadelphia, right?
Philadelphia, Apollo 13, The Green Mile, Toy Story, Saving Private Ryan, You've Got Mail,
yeah.
Forrest
Saving
Gump.
Private Ryan probably is his best
It's
movie.
got to be up. That's got to be up there too.
Or when he was on that TV show when he played him and his like roommate were like he was in this TV show that I used to watch when I was a kid for some reason because it was the only thing like my TV would get in my room, where he and his roommate, in order to live in their apartment, had to cross dress as women. You guys, have you ever seen this? This is a real thing.
I know
Naked
what you're
Truth?
talking about, but I don't know what it's called.
Is that what it's called?
Nah, I don't.
I gotta look this up. Bosom Buddies. That's what it's called.
That's not what I was thinking of.
Look up Bosom Buddies.
No. No, I'm not going to do it. You can't make me.
It's funny.
If you guys have
It's an
one,
80s comedy about two men cross-dressing as women, and one
Yeah.
of them is Tom Hanks.
That means it doesn't hold up well, and it's very offensive now.
you're on a deserted island. The only thing they have is an endless generator, a TV, a DVD player, and you can bring one actor's entire catalog of film and TV that they did. Who is the actor that you bring?
Mel Brooks.
Can you stop asking these extremely thought-provoking questions that I need time to prepare for live?
You don't
can
get
give me a
time.
heads up?
It's right now. It's top of the dome.
Ooh, who would I pick? I would probably pick off of the dome. Oh, we'll go with actor or director.
Ooh, that's a good
I'll go
one.
with Sam Jackson.
That's a lot of movies and
Yeah,
a lot of TV. That's a lot of stuff.
but that covers a lot of my favorite Tarantino movies and Marvel movies.
You just might as well pick Nicolas Cage because it's the most stuff. You might as well just pick someone who's been in a bunch of stuff.
Yeah,
Honestly,
I'm going with Sam Jackson.
I think I'd be cheating and I'd just say it's definitely
Margot Robbie. Duh.
Obviously.
No, it's Tom. It's definitely Tom Hanks.
He'd die of dehydration early if he chose Margot Robbie.
I've watched. I feel like I've watched a lot of the movies Tom Hanks was in are the ones that I watched on repeat.
Brad's still laughing about the joke. And
That was a killer masturbation joke.
he died from filling up all those cylinders.
Oh,
He fed the world with his habit.
Oh my god, what the fuck? And with that note, so Brad, how's reliving one of your most favorite beloved video games of all time?
so
Are you gonna watch Bosom Buddies? Though?
No.
Damn it!
So we all know that a big game release from BioWare Studios happened recently in the form of Mass Effect's Legendary Edition, which includes all 3 original trilogy Mass Effect games, all DLCs except for Pinnacle Station, and just it's hard for me to say anything other than the greatest things ever about a game trilogy that is probably one of my favorite of all time. I will always argue it's one of the best of all time, one of the best sci-fi stories, best RPGs, most replayable games. I will never be able to say enough good things about what I feel about Mass Effect's original trilogy. So we had the Legendary Edition drop recently. I wish I could give it a review as a perspective of somebody who's never played it before a little bit, because as somebody who's played through the games multiple times, it's really nice to see, polished graphics, updated UIs, updated audio. I don't have a system that runs it at its highest capabilities, so I'm not pushing it to its limits either. So for me, someone who's played the game so many times, I just wish there was more. I know it's such a hard thing to ask for somebody who's updating a 10-plus-year-old game, trying to make it relevant without doing a full Final Fantasy VII level remake. But I just I'm enjoying playing it. I'm enjoying everything they've updated, but it doesn't feel new and different to me. It's just reliving a game that I've played so many times. And then the first time I played it, it was an amazing adventure for me to play through 3 games of Commander Shepard's story and shape that universe using the immense world that was created throughout this trilogy. So I'm only about 15 hours into it, and it's been out for almost a week now. honestly,
each game, it's the 3 games, and each game's what, like 60 hours?
so the first game, they usually say 100% is about 60 to 70. The second one, 100% is about 70 to 90. The third one's right around 90. 100%. So to 100% all 3. So, I mean, it's really not very far. So, and I'm still in the first game, so that's the, like, kind of the most heavily updated. So what I'll tell people for new players, I stress how much you should play this game. I think you might want to wait because it is a firm EA product. I do think it'll probably end up on EA Play at some point, which means it's on Game Pass at some point. Probably. I'm not going to guarantee that, but being one of the big games, I think at some point, once you get past the initial people who have to own it, it probably likely ends up there. So I would say it's worth waiting for a while and not paying the full $60 tag, which means I'm going to give it a 3. But if I'm giving the game Mass Effect a rating, the game and the game lore itself is a 5. It's just the game's going to play old. It's an old game. They didn't remake the game to update it to make it new and fresh. But like, and when I say I want more, I wish in order to...
Well, it's that too. And then, well, you're mentioning something that's important, though. You said for, like, new people to the game, that would be myself.
Yeah.
And you're talking it's a 60 to 70-hour game. What, I guess, genre are we looking at from a 60 to 70-hour game?
I'm
is it
sorry.
linear
If you're...
gameplay? Is it open world? Is it...
If you are unfamiliar with Mass Effect at all, it's a sci-fi RPG. I wouldn't say it's a complete open world. You're going to jump from map to map and exploring universes. And in the first game especially, you have contained maps on planets that you can explore a bit. You have city planets that you can explore a bit. There are combat and non-combat situations. The first game doesn't really play like a shooter. It plays very much like an RPG. Very heavy Paragon, Renegade, choice-based decisions, building relationships with an amazing cast of characters that you are going to care about. Every single character they introduce, probably. You'll have your list of favorites, but at some point they're going to catch you on every character they introduce over 3 games. And they're followed by great voice actors. They did such a good job writing this universe. That's why I say that everybody should play it, because it's such a well-done universe, and it's one that has so much potential to expand into other mediums. There's rumor of either a TV show or movie on track right now. They're working on the newest installment of the game currently at BioWare. But this is, in my opinion, the pinnacle of sci-fi RPG storytelling.
Yeah.
Which is why people should play it.
I just definitely want to reiterate what Brad said. Mass Effect is one of the best sci-fi video game stories in existence. It is a must-play put it in your repertoire if you like sci-fi, but it's also it was, like the first Mass Effect, a benchmark for like epic storytelling. The universe that they created is amazing. And even though the firefighting and the gunplay isn't the best in the first one, and probably even the 2 and 3, it's not like, Halo level shooting, but you really do create relationships with characters and that it's interesting and like you want to get to know them. It's not something like Skyrim where like there's just too much and too many people to talk to and too many choices. Like it's a much better curated experience, and like you don't have to do all the side quests and all the you don't have to sink 60 hours in. You can just play the main story and get so much out of it, but your consequences have weight. Like you can lose some of your favorite characters and they won't be there for the whole 3 series. Like your choices, have meaning. So that's fantastic. I was reading a lot of the like changes that they made, and I thought about, picking it up and replaying it. I haven't played it as much as Brad, but after Brad's telling me maybe wait till it's on sale, I might actually do that.
I'm on their website right now, and the remaster looks like they did a pretty good job of updating it to modern graphics.
Yeah, it's definitely very cleaned up.
Even the old ones look really good, though.
Yeah, it was a mod
It's a gorgeous
of
game.
marvel of when it was, the technology when it was. That's why it didn't need to be too cleaned up. It's very the first one very much is like reminded me of like the Master Chief Collection, what they did with like Halo 1, how much they improved Halo 1, not how much they focused and redid Halo 2 in the Master Chief Collection, but more like 1, like the kind of same upgrades. And the combat is nicer and smoother than it used to be. It still plays very old, but I can't speak to the other ones yet because I'm not there. But I never thought the combat in 2 and 3 played old. I thought it was really nice and really well done. And that being said, I think it moves up in your queue and your necessity to get it if they choose to re-add the multiplayer from Mass Effect 3. Because the Mass Effect 3 multiplayer was hella fun. It was, PvE, fun cast of characters and loadouts to play through. We had a super good time playing it, and it was integral to the storyline at 1.2. I don't think they'll do that same tie-in, but if they bring back the multiplayer, it's going to be so fun to hop in that with everybody. So definitely gets pushed up if they do that, for sure. Other than that, like... It's just so disheartening for me to give it anything other than a 5 because it's my most beloved video game of all time.
Damn. I just think the universe that Mass Effect creates is so cool.
It's
and
brilliant.
Sci-fi's the best.
And it's kind of like it's grounded in some realism, and I mean they create fantastical alien characters with them not seeming crazy outlandish. They find really great places for humor within the story and within the universe. They just did so. It's always a game that they did so well with, even with the trouble they had with the third game with how they ended it. I mean, appealing to everybody for an ending has got to be one of the hardest things to do. So a lot of people think they dropped the ball. I think there were satisfying enough endings, kind of like Lost, You're either like okay with it, you loved it, or you thought it was the goddamn worst thing ever. I thought it was good. I thought it was a great ending.
Okay, good. I almost kicked you off of the show.
I like the ending of Mass Effect 3. Not all of the endings, but like 2 of the endings I thought were really well done.
Hummer, if you've never played Mass Effect before, now's the time to get in and play it because it's a game I think that does need to be played. I know you really liked Assassin's Creed Odyssey, so it's kind of in that vein, except instead of fighting, it's more shooting but better story. It's not like Assassin's Creed Odyssey is at all, but as far as action RPG goes, I know that's what Hummer likes, and I think you'll also like Mass Effect because it's an action RPG.
I was actually trying to log into my EA account because with ESPN with the EA Play. You get 10 hours of new releases. I was wondering if it happened to have 10 hours of the new release.
I didn't see that, but I did see the normal 10 to 15% off if you're at EA, whatever, remember. But, I mean, I think it's worth playing the updated versions. You could always just go play.
If you have Game Pass, you automatically get EA Play.
You could always go play 1, 2, and 3, the original copies. They're all on Game Pass EA Play if you don't want the updated versions. But I think it's worth it if you've never played it to update it because getting through 1 the old way, rough. Getting through 1 the new way, still plays old, but I think it's way more doable. Because once you get to 2 and 3, they play fantastic and they hold up for sure. I just think like with whatever gamers have now, you want more customization than they give you. And like that's kind of as an old player, I wish they had let me do more like fun, goofy customizations because I played through the game so many times. I just want to have like outlandish hairstyles and tattoos and crazy color armors and stuff like that. At this point, I would have more fun playing through like that, which you can do if you play on PC and you play with mods. So have fun.
I always played as default Shepard, and because Lost was hot at the time Mass Effect came out, he was Jack Shepard.
They did put the FemShep character from 3 as the main FemShep now, though, too. And she looks great. She looks great throughout the whole series. So kudos to them for FemShep, because FemShep is my Shepard. Like, it is. That's how I see Shepard after multiple playthroughs. it's female Shepherd all day.
For $60, I get 3 games. That's actually a deal.
I mean, yeah, 3 remastered games, all fully. I've seen a little bit of bugs here and there, but nothing like game breaking. Not in my games, in other people's see stuff on Reddit. So, plus you're gonna play with your newer technology, so it's gonna look even better for you than it would for me.
That's what I was just thinking. I gotta actually use my Series X. So I was thinking about getting it for the Series X, and especially because that 4K goodness.
Brad, as Brad Shepard endorsed the game.
I'm Commander Shepard, and this is my favorite game on the Citadel.
Well, it's funny. It's like I hear you the way you're talking about it, and I haven't even played it yet, and I just want to disagree with your review and give it a 5 because like you say the game.
I want you to do that so
good.
Badly.
You know, and all we're getting is a 4K
that's all I
version of the
want.
best game you've ever played in your life.
That's all I want for you to do is for you to do that to me. Please do that. I want that so badly. Oh, that would make me so happy. Happy.
I wonder what your experience would be if you were playing on 4K and like, what's the max frames on this game? Like if on the Xbox optimized version, because originally it was 30. So if it's running 4K 60, that would be incredible.
You're asking the wrong guy. You're talking to my guy all wrong.
I know Hummer's right there. I'm talking to my guy in the chair.
It supports up to 120 frames per second
on Xbox.
And then, so if you're going 2K, 120 frames per second at 4K, it's 60 FPS. That's going to be dope.
Yeah, now that I might have to.
Yeah, that might be if you guys are giving it some high praise here as like a legendary game to play.
Dude, if throughout the 3 games you don't cry twice, at least, I'll think you're a robot.
I'm a ginger, and I'm really a ginger, and I don't have a soul.
You'll still cry twice, at least. And you'll laugh at least 14 times. Out loud.
Love it.
And you'll go,
Brad,
oh,
who's
fuck.
your favorite character?
You'll go, oh, fuck, at least 22 times. My favorite character? I love the relationship between Shepard and Garrus. That's probably my favorite. Like, whether you're femme shep or male shep, like, that's the most, like, bro-y relationship in the game, and I think it's awesome.
You're Garrus dude?
I like
Although
Garrus.
I can kind of tell how you took the femme shep Garrus relate. You've said everything that I need to know.
No, it's always Liara.
Always, that's the right call.
But
And
Miranda,
sometimes Jack.
But Miranda in the second game because
We
Yvonne
all know why.
Strahovski. Yvonne Strahovski. That's a good one.
Yeah, I like Rex. He's my favorite.
That's fair too. But you know how many players killed Rex? It's a staggering amount of people.
They couldn't help it. Oh shit! I shouldn't have said that. Anyway, moving on. So Brad.
Yeah, so there was one more thing I wanted to talk about this week.
Say it right.
Because
One more thing.
One more thing.
That was a Jackie Chan Adventures reference.
Yeah, not enough people will give that show the respect it deserves.
Agreed.
So, I went over to Apple TV this week because I've seen a commercial for Mythic Quest, and it's been something that's been on the back of my mind to watch. But since it's on Apple TV, that's not something I click on very often, so I have not watched it yet. But I did now, and I'm all caught up. We're deep in season 2 right now. I think about 4 episodes in. Really stellar cast, guys. Like I mean, it's the creators of It's Always Sunny. So you've got I'm gonna blank on so many names right now. Charlie Day is writing and directing.
You had me at Charlie Day. Rob,
right? Yeah, Rob McElhaney is one of the main characters. Ashley Birch is in it. She's really great. The other kind of main character, Poppy, is played by this like Australian Charlotte Nicotto. She's really good. David Hornsby is really good. Danny Pudi plays an unlikable character, and it's been really hard because it's hard imagining him as unlikable. So that's been weird. I will say that it took me a little while to get any interest in this show. The first 4 episodes, I just didn't know what they were trying to do. They're telling multiple bottled stories, trying to introduce you to this big cast, and it didn't feel really well organized. And then the 5th episode happened, and if at this point it still feels like an episode that has very little to do with the rest of the show. But the 5th episode starred Jake Johnson. I'm not gonna find her. Anyways, so there it is. Christine Milioti, that's who it was. So, and it was they had this whole bottle episode of themselves where they met in a video game store in the 90s and started producing a video game together, and then fell in love, and they had this whole story about their video game growth and them falling apart in their relationship, and it was all bottled into one episode, and it was really well done. And from that point on, I was very interested in the show going forward. After that episode, it was back and forth of whether or not it felt like they were really in control of what they were doing versus really kind of all over the place. And then they had a quarantine episode where they did the whole episode over Zoom. Remember, a lot of TV shows are forced to do that. I remember the Saturday Night Live one especially because they were bad. And a lot of TV shows, like a Parks and Rec came back and did one, and it was bad. And a lot of them were just bad. But guys, that quarantine episode was brilliant. Really, really, really well done. All over Zoom calls and stuff. There was only one actual interaction amongst cast members in physically, and I don't even think they were actually physically there. I think they kind of staged it that way, and it was a really big moment and really dramatic and well done. I thought they crushed it. And then that kind of leads us into the finale of season 1 and now season 2 where we are now. And the show has been really good. I think the whole cast has really found a foothold in their characters, and the story is kind of driving amongst this creative group. The main theme feels like it's, creative against corporate in this video game world, which definitely holds my interest as a person who's played video games for a long time. It's built within this office of they run an MMO, which is a massively multiplayer online MMORPG called Mythic Quest, and it's just like World of Warcraft, all of those. Now that everything feels like it's moving really well within this season, I think this is a must check out. Not nearly as good as Ted Lasso, but I'd give it a 4. I think it's worth going over to Apple TV and checking it out. It's not enough for you to get Apple TV yet, though, because there's really just Ted Lasso, which is worth it, and Mythic Quest, which is almost worth it and getting there, and I think it's really going to be good going forward. So, guys, I think it's worth checking out Mythic Quest. Full of great names and actors, full of people you've probably seen work in other projects and really enjoy. A topic you guys probably are going to enjoy being within this, video game universe. And when they're on, they're on. When they're off, it's a little rough. It just doesn't feel focused. But when they are on, it is on, and it's funny. It's thoughtful at times. I just think it's a really, really high potential, high ceiling, low floor kind of show. Really worth checking out.
I was not expecting that.
Yeah, I didn't think you were.
I don't know if I can handle Danny Pudi as the non-likable character.
It's like he tries to be semi-charming at times, but he's the main corporate guy. He's the guy that's pushing microtransactions in video games and mentally manipulating people through money and sarcasm. It's a weird thing.
He sounds like a lovable guy.
Gamers rise up.
That sounds like a guy that I want to play video games with. The guy who wants to charge me for every single thing I do in the game. I love that guy.
Hummer's what we call a level 5 susceptible. Hummer also started playing World of Warcraft recently, too.
I didn't get past level 2. I gave up. I didn't like it.
If you don't get in the community real quick, those games always are gonna flitter out on you. You have to like buy into the community real quick and like make friends in games like those. And if you don't like people in real life, you're not gonna like them in simulated life.
Now I see why I never liked it.
Actually, I didn't like the actual gameplay either. Like the way you moved around in the world. I want my mouse like.
You don't want
to. You have to do two things at once. You have to move your character, and you have to move the mouse around the screen at the same time.
You don't want to program multiple macros, bro, so you can just sit there and watch your screen unfold as in your attack formations with other people. I get it.
Yeah, fair enough.
Can I tell you about this like 7 degrees of Kevin Bacon I just went on because Brad talking about Mythic Quest? First off, I don't want to take away from your review of Mythic Quest. That sounds interesting. I'm definitely bumping it up on my list now. But you mentioned there's the episode with Kristen Milioti, which made me go to IMDb and like look at her page while you were talking about her. And then I forgot that she was on that one episode of Black Mirror because I saw that picture of it. And that in that one episode of Black Mirror, she's stuck in a video game, or she's stuck in like a guy's simulation of Star Trek. And the bad guy in that episode is Jesse Plemons, who's also the bad guy at the end of Breaking Bad and in Judas and the Black Messiah, and he's really good at being a bad guy, and he's also going to be in the new Jungle Cruise movie, which I just saw the trailer of, and it looks awesome. You guys should watch the trailer for the Jungle Cruise movie.
Jungle Cruise is in wasn't that a ride on Disney?
It is a ride at Disney.
So they're trying to do another Pirates of the Caribbean, basically.
It seems like that's exactly what this movie is. It's very, very heavily Pirates influenced, but it's got Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson and Emily Blunt, and it looks awesome.
Everything with Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson is awesome.
Yeah, you guys should go and watch the trailer.
The Rock needs to replace Leonardo DiCaprio in the remake of Titanic.
More likely, by the time they remake Titanic, he's going to have to replace Rose. But like old lady Rose, we're going to see old Rock drop a big ass jewel in the ocean.
Definitely, though, go check out the trailer for the Jungle Cruise because it looks awesome.
So I got a surprise for you guys.
Oh God!
So
is it hot dogs?
The Office. Obviously, I'm not subscribing to Peacock. I'm not going to do it. It's like a principle at this point. I'm not going to do it. And so I'm looking for a show. I'm like, oh, yeah, you know what? I like The Big Bang Theory. I'm going to rewatch it. I'm rewatching it, and I'm realizing now how terrible the show really is.
You should have realized that the first time, but okay.
Well, no, it relies on two things, and the only two things are like, oh, being a nerd and having sex. Like everything is a sexual innuendo. Every single thing in the show is a sexual innuendo. And then, like, for as smart as the character Sheldon is supposed to be, he's actually very inconsistent with his mannerisms. Like, there's, like, 3 of them maybe that are actually he's consistent with, like his spot and referencing the roommate agreement. But the guy has so many quirks. Where does the time in his day go to manage all of these weird quirks that he has? Like, and it's so new. They always introduce a new quirk that Sheldon does. But you never like, all right, where's the time for it? Where's the time? I just don't get it. So I'm like rewatching it, and I'm like, the show's like, taking a big hit.
I don't care about any of that.
I don't think either of us are surprised by that. That's a show that relied on canned laughter.
Yeah,
like that was the
only
only
thing. So did
that
Friends.
Love it,
but Friends is
I
amazing.
used to love it. Yeah, Friends is incredible.
They just put their reunion trailer up today. I think it was.
Yes, it looks awesome.
That looked awesome. I can't wait for that. That's going to be great.
I told Joy I didn't want to watch the trailer because I
it's
didn't
not
want any
a
spoilers.
Show. It's just like them. Okay.
No, I know.
It's a reunion.
Yeah, I just want to watch it, and I don't want to see anything about it because I don't need to be advertised for it.
He just wants to sit there
the
and
trailer.
smile as it happens.
Yeah, I just want to take it in without seeing anything about it.
The trailer starts, opening shot, main living room, cast enters.
La, 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 la.
Familiar but older. They laugh and they see each other.
Are you doing Friends the radio play now?
The trailer.
Joey walks in, stage right. Rachel, she's standing there saying, I got divorced from Ross. Why didn't we just get married in the first place? We were really the better couple.
They're actually playing the game that they play when they're fighting over who gets the apartment, but as like themselves in real life of movie and Friends trivia. I'm trying to spoil it for you.
I hope that's not true, you son of a bitch.
Anyway, we got a little bit of time left, so I gotta go quick here, and I will do that. So let me start with Raya and the Last Dragon. This has been out a while, but also on principle. Just like I'm never gonna subscribe to Peacock, I did not want to give Disney Plus $30 to rent a movie. I would have paid
Premiere access.
Never happening. That will
That
never
is
happen.
ridiculous.
I will never
I would
do
have
that.
paid to purchase the movie at a premium if it just came out. Like I would have like been okay with that, but to watch it, like I don't know, probably you get it 24, 48 hours is completely ridiculous, overpriced bullshit. So no, I did not support that in any way. But I did want to take my kids to the movies because I love it, they love it. It's a great experience. So, you know, we went to a Sunday matinee together. I took them out there. And I can't believe that Disney really shot themselves in the foot by doing that stupid $30 model, because they probably lost a lot of people seeing it, because it is so fantastic. It is such a good movie. Like, I was in for such a treat and did not realize how good it was, because there was like no marketing for it, barely. Although I don't know if marketing doesn't really work on me because I don't have anything with commercials anymore. So I can't remember the last time I've actually seen a commercial, because like I have YouTube Premium and Netflix. So like where am I ever going to see a commercial, you know?
Aren't you getting ready to buy an iMac?
Well, the YouTube videos I watch are all tech videos. Okay. So I guess they're basically 20-minute commercials on tech stuff. But anyway, like, so we were talking about last week, I think last week, Sony and, you know, really stepping it up on their animation and being on par with, like, you know, Pixar and the other studios really stepping up. Raya and the Last Dragon's like Disney coming in just like, fuck all that noise. Like, they just completely crushed the animation game. This movie, you have to go see it in theaters, and it is visually completely stunning and beautiful. The color scheme, the framing of characters, the cinematics, each still is almost like a beautiful picture. The movie itself it doesn't take place on Earth, but it's like heavily, I believe, Chinese themes, because all of the main voice actors are of Chinese descent.
Southeast
I could be
Asian,
wrong.
I'm
I
pretty
did
sure.
not do the research there, but like
The one thing
Is
I
it
really,
Taiwan or Chinese or Hong Kong?
The one thing I really remember reading about this movie is that because of the way they released it on Disney Plus, it was the first Disney movie about like a Southeast Asian story and Southeast Asian princess that the people in Southeast Asia weren't going to get to watch because they don't have Disney Plus. I remember that being a thing, like at the early release.
So the movie itself is Raya has to, you know, bad things happen. She has to go on her mission, save the world. That's like every Disney movie, right? She has to team up with the Last Dragon to save everyone. The plot's actually pretty stereotypical, but it's very enjoyable. I really like that they gave Kelly Marie Tran, like, who got so much shit from the toxic Star Wars community for The Last Jedi. They really gave her like a chance to shine as the main character, and she does a really great job. She does a really good job voice act and this badass princess character hero. Aquafina is the dragon Sisu, and she kind of seems like almost like a lame genie. Like, you know how the genies, all of his jokes are like almost, I don't want to say anachronistic, because Aladdin takes place in the past and he's making jokes from like present times, but I guess that is anachronistic. I'm just thinking of it the other way around. So I don't know, her jokes just seem like out of place, just like a lame Robin Williams. Still good though, not bad, not overbearing. This has Daniel Day Kim, Benedict Wong, who plays Wong in in Doctor Strange, plays the character Tong in this movie. Sandra Oh, Alan Tudyk, of course, makes a slight little appearance like he does in every Disney movie. The voice cast is good. It's just a visually stunning, beautiful movie to watch. I enjoyed every part of it. If you have kids, absolutely take your kids to go see it. If you're Hummer or Brad, me recommending you guys to go see this movie, would I recommend you to go to the theater and pay money to go see it? Probably not. Maybe as a date movie. Maybe not go by yourself. If it becomes available on Disney, not $30, definitely check it out. It's very good. I'm gonna give it a 4 out of 5.
Can I ask you a question?
No.
Well, I'm going to anyway. Like, because that's what I was about to ask. So, like, you're talking about, like, all right, so this makes it, basically you're saying this is a great kids movie that adults can enjoy with their kids, but it doesn't sound like you're saying, all right, if you don't have kids, it's really maybe not worth your time because it's a kids movie.
Well, no, because if you like going,
Is
if
it like
you like
Toy
going to the
Story?
movies and watching
It's like
Toy
Toy
Story,
Story.
any of the Pixar, if you like any of the Pixar movies or any of the new Disney movies, it's right up. That's going to be right up your alley. It's quality wise, it's just as good. I probably like this better than Toy Story 4. I liked it just as much as I liked Onward.
I was gonna say Raya and the Last Dragon, Kung Fu Panda.
Ooh, I think I cannot remember if it's Raya or Raya. I'm sure I'm saying it wrong, but Kung Fu Panda is probably more entertaining for me because it's Jack Black. I think Raya is the better movie. I don't know. Kung Fu Panda is such a good movie.
Yeah, I picked a tough one for you.
Man, that's hard. Both are. The Raya has it beat in like cinematics and the visually stunning.
Like action sequences are better, because I thought that was something that Kung Fu Panda did so well, which is why I put that up there.
There are some like just like the way that the entire scene is framed, where like you have like this palace and like really small. I'm trying to explain a visual picture. It's not. I'm not going to be able to do it justice, but I think visually, for sure, Ray is better. But man, I could watch Kung Fu Panda over and over and over again. I love that movie. I don't know about this movie yet. I'll have to watch it again.
Yeah.
Now, are you also telling Brad and I not to go by ourselves because it's a kids movie and you don't want us to look like creepers?
It's not because it's a kids movie. It's because it's an animated movie. You know, you just like.
I was just trying to make a joke. I wasn't trying to offend you.
I mean, that's cool if you're creepers. It's not going to offend me.
Well, you did say go as a date movie too, so gotta give you props for that.
Yeah, would you go to the movies? But first off, I would never go to the movies by myself. So that's, you know,
So I do go to the movies by myself because I travel a lot for work, and so when you're in a city and there's nothing to do overnight, like I'll just go to a movie theater. So now that like COVID's over, I'm definitely going to be, near places where I'll purposely choose a hotel near a movie theater so I can go check out whatever's playing. Especially that's where I take the opportunity to watch the films that my wife really wouldn't care to watch. So that's why I'm asking these questions, because that could be a good one where if I know my wife's not going to be interested in it, maybe I'll go and see it by myself. But if it's a good date movie, like we'll watch animated movies for sure. Grant, the last one I think we watched together was Frozen, and I still haven't gotten her to watch Frozen 2, which frankly I want to know what happens in Frozen 2.
I also am okay going to the movies by myself, but it's mostly because people don't like me. No, it's not that. But I seriously don't have very many friends.
well, we're as men in our 30s, you know. It's hard to have friends in this day and age.
There's one time, I swear, true story, my wife and her friends, we were at Nashville, and they started chanting at the bar, "No new friends."
Yeah, that's like you hit a point in your life where you don't need, like, it's hard to make new friends and you don't really want to. Like, I don't want to. Like, I'm cool. Like I'm cool on that.
Yeah. You want to
You
go
are
to this?
cool,
You want to go to this
man.
house party?
You're really
no.
cool.
Whose house party? Some dude. No, I don't want to go. I don't want to go. I don't know him. I don't want to go.
I barely want to talk to the people I already know. Like, come on. All right, yeah. So it's really good. I enjoyed it. The story's good. The acting's good. The visuals are fantastic. The visuals are absolutely stunning and fantastic in theater. I don't know if it'd be the same on the small screen, but I got a couple minutes here. I got to squeeze in this other review because I was not brave enough to play Resident Evil 7, but I did summon my courage to finish Resident Evil 8. Do you guys like the Resident Evil games?
No.
Why?
No.
I just remember the old ones when I was younger, and I didn't like that you had to like stand in one place and shoot at the same time. And horror as a genre doesn't really like do it for me, so I've never cared.
I was more along the line of a Half-Life fan back in the day, and I just never got into them. Like from that horror genre, the closest thing I ever got really was, ironically, the Doom series up until Doom 3. And so I just never got into Resident Evil's the Umbrella Corporation, right?
Mm-hmm.
It was hard to get into for me back in the day, and so I just never carried along with the franchise. You know, it is what it is.
Yeah, I think part of the horror genre is like your ability to overcome like the situation that you're in. Like if you're incredibly overpowered, like the Doom Slayer in Doom, that doesn't really make it a horror genre, even though it's like a hellish, landscape nightmare scenario. You still have like giant big BFGs that you're shooting into their faces and chainsawing them. Like you're not underpowered in any way. But in the Resident Evil series, this last one, they completely tried to create like just a new gameplay experience, especially creating it in virtual reality, which I would never do. It's too terrifying. But you are completely underpowered, and you just never have enough ammo, and it's an experience though. It's if you like that type of experience, play the 7. I hate it, but 8 they made it less scary, still scary, but more video gamey. So there's more progression. There is progression in 7, but by the end of the game, like you're not scared anymore, and you can take anything on, and they know it. So like they really crank up the shit that you got to deal with. But it's a very enjoyable experience. You're still going to have anxiety, especially the second level. Something happens that's so grotesquely, morbidly terrifying that they take away your weapon so you know you can't fight it. And it is completely awful, but beatable. And, that's the scariest part of the game. So after you get past that...
For those of you who are wondering what it is, it's your mother.
Actually, you're not far off from what it... I don't want... yeah.
You're trying not to spoil it. I see that.
Lady Dimitrescu, though...
So, I mean, is it a game? Is Resident Evil similar to Mass Effect in a sense? Like, is it worth getting into if you're not already into it?
Okay, so it is an action video game. It's an action adventure game. Mass Effect's an action RPG. So this game is mostly shooting, progressing through the story. There's no choices to be made. You're experiencing the narrative.
So kind of like Last of Us in a sense?
Kind of, yes. Kind of like Last of Us. Although Last of Us is more focused on gunplay, this is more focused on survival. So it's a survival horror, I guess you would call it. It's just a really good game. So it's a great jumping in point if you don't want to play 7. You don't need to play any of the other games. If you have played the other games, only like one part you'll get like oh, here we go, here's how it ties in. But you don't need to play them at all. If you just want to enjoy a good action game that you will get anxiety and be terrified, it is worth it. It's very fun. I'm having a blast, especially by the end when you like level up all your weapons and have, landmines and pipe bombs and rocket launchers, and you're not scared as much, but terrifying stuff still happens. The boss fights are cool. They get way over the top, completely ridiculous. So it's just a fun game. I think your first playthrough is going to take you about 9 or 10 hours, but the game's designed to where you'll unlock more guns and more stuff and more perks on another playthrough, and it's they really make it video gamey. Like after you're not scared because you know what's going to happen, you can actually get through the whole game in 2 hours if you sprint through it and like have everything unlocked and are super good. But it's designed to be played over and over and over again. So that part, that's what makes it cool. So I'm trying to play it over again on a harder mode, but it's too hard because I haven't unlocked stuff yet. Very enjoyable.
I was gonna say I've been seeing you playing it a lot. Have you been playing it over and over and over again, or are you just stuck on that one spot?
Is it just me, or does guns, stuff, and perks sound like a country anthem for white nationalists?
I got guns, perks, and stuff.
That's all you need.
Come back into my truck.
The South will rise again.
Yeah. We got to develop a pseudonym and start cranking out this record. Sell it to all the QAnon fans.
Don't take my guns. Don't take my stuff. Gonna give you perks.
Leave me my perks. Don't give them to the coloreds.
Oh my God.
Telling you, it's a white nationalist anthem.
Makes sense. Yeah, well, the science checks out. So the first playthrough of the game, and this is kind of a spoiler, but it's really more of a tip. And you get ambushed in the village by lichens, and just a shitload of them come out of nowhere. And don't try to fight them; you're gonna waste all your ammo, and just book it and try to get out of there. But on the second playthrough, when you have all your guns and stuff unlocked, you can fight them and take them down and kill them all. So that's where I'm pretty much back at the beginning, stuck there, because I wanted this time just wreck them.
You're supposed to befriend the one named Jacob, and that's how you fight the vampires. I've read that Twilight cover before.
I mean, if you're talking about vampires, Lady Dimitrescu is a thick girl. I was going to say thick boy, but that doesn't make sense. Thick girl doesn't sound as good. Lady Dimitrescu is fire. She's amazing. Yeah. I felt bad having to kill her. But anyway, they also have a multiplayer mode, which is just a horde. I'm sorry, they don't have a multiplayer mode, but they have a horde survival mode. So if you just want to have fun, get in there and see how long you can last, that's there too. And you can unlock more perks and more guns and more cool stuff. So as a video game...
That was some heavy sexual innuendo.
Was it?
If you just want to get in there and see how long you can last?
How did I miss that? I'm just so focused on wanting to tell you about how good and enjoyable Resident Evil 8 is. But it's short. So if you play through it and you don't want to keep playing through it, and you're not enjoying it as much to keep playing through it, because that's really where the value is there, is after you experience it to keep playing through it. It's a $60 game, so maybe wait till it's on sale. But I think it's great. I'm definitely going to keep replaying it, so I'm going to give it a 4 out of 5. There's not a lot of stuff out right now other than Mass Effect. If I had to say play that over Mass Effect, if you've never played Mass Effect Legendary Edition, pick it up. But if you played through it already, I'm going to wait till that's on sale, and I feel like I made the right choice playing the new Resident Evil 8.
I'm definitely going to take your guys' advice on waiting for all of these to go on sale. Because I should have taken your advice on all that stuff to go on sale. I didn't do that with Valhalla, and, one of the worst games I've ever played in my life.
Damn.
Well, Resident Evil games are likely, other ones that are likely to hit Game Pass too at some point. I feel like I've seen the other ones. The Resident Evil 2 remake was on there, I think, at some point. I think you already said 6 or 7 was on there, so that's kind of a likely candidate to be on Game Pass at some point.
I don't think 2 remake was on there. I think the 2 remake was only PlayStation. I might be wrong about that, but that's pretty new. I
might be wrong about that.
7 is on there. So you can try 7. Play it by yourself in the dark. Turn the lights off. You won't regret it.
This sounds like my favorite Margaret Robbie movie.
Play it by yourself in the dark? What an art piece.
Oh, I've also forgot to mention, I didn't have enough time to watch both of the movies that you guys recommended. I got to watch Cats Don't Dance. I'm not going to talk about it because I'm going to watch Ferngully with the kids too, because I only get like a limited time to watch movies with kids. And so I'm going to watch with both of them.
maybe you shouldn't have gone to the movie theater. Maybe you should have watched both movies instead.
I made the right call. And I'll talk about that next time. And that's all we got time for you guys this week. Thanks for sticking around. If you enjoyed the show, leave a review on the app that you're listening on. And you can go to timesyncpod.com for more information. You guys want to say anything?
I have some characters I've been working on. Do you want to hear one?
Sure.
Just that I'll probably be gone for the next couple weeks because I'm moving.
To the east side, literally.
Moving to New York City.
Hummer's going to star in the remake of West Side Story.
I don't think is that old enough.
Does that mean he's
old
gonna
enough? Do we need to go
fall
back
in love with a
further?
14-year-old girl?
You know that's getting remade by Steven Spielberg for some reason.
Hot.
Is it necessary to remake old musicals? I don't think it's necessary.
He's doing it.
They are making a Dear Evan Hansen movie, and I cannot wait for that. Because that was a terrific musical. Ben Platt is starring in it again. The early trailers look great. That is going to be a great movie musical.
Oh, dude, watch the trailer for In the Heights, too, because that looks amazing, too.
What's on Netflix roulette for this week? Is it Brad's turn or is it my turn?
Well, I'm gonna finish the 2 movies thing, and then we'll do Netflix roulette next time. And you won't be here, so it can't be your turn.
Well, go ahead and give me a Netflix roulette, and then when I come back, that'll be my punishment for missing a couple weeks.
Give him 3 Netflix roulettes.
I'm giving you 2.
3
You gotta
of
give
them.
it before. Actually, here's something interesting. My wife and I are discussing which platform to get rid of, like a streaming platform to like kind of par down for a little bit. And Netflix actually came out on top of the list of what we're thinking about getting rid of.
That's stupid.
On the high end of the chopping block.
Everything we're watching right now is on HBO and Hulu. So there's the East Town with what's her name from Titanic, Big Booby Juby, Kate Winslet. It's set.
Let me
in
end this
Delaware
episode.
County, right outside of Philadelphia.
And we'll see you guys next week. Thanks for tuning in.
Booby Juby. Booby Juby.
Don't end it on Big Booby Juby.
By the way, have fun editing that.
God damn it. Stop.